My beloved child, before another thought carries your heart somewhere else, stay here with me for just a little while. Let the hurried rhythm of this day grow quiet, even if only for a single moment. Do not rush past these words as though they were only another message appearing among countless others. I know how easy it has become to keep scrolling, to keep searching, to keep hoping that somewhere, somehow, something will finally speak to the place inside you that has been growing weary. But today, I am asking you to stop. Listen carefully, not because my voice is louder than every other voice, but because I am speaking to the place within you that has been waiting to hear from me. You may wonder why this moment found you. You may ask yourself why these words appeared before your eyes at this exact time instead of yesterday or tomorrow. Perhaps you almost passed by. Perhaps your finger nearly moved on. Perhaps you did not expect anything meaningful to happen today. Yet here you are. There are moments in life that seem ordinary until they quietly become the beginning of something deeper. There are moments that appear small on the surface while eternity gently breathes beneath them. Do not be too quick to call this coincidence. The world has taught you to believe that everything happens by chance, that every encounter is random, that every interruption is merely an accident of timing. But I have always worked in quieter ways than the world expects. I have often entered hearts through moments people almost overlooked. I have often spoken through gentle invitations instead of dramatic signs. My child, I know how long you have carried questions that never seem to find an answer. I know how many mornings you woke up carrying responsibilities before you even had time to breathe. I know the silent conversations that have filled your mind while no one else could hear them. I know the prayers you whispered when words became too heavy to speak aloud. I know the nights when your heart hoped for reassurance but settled instead for silence. None of those moments escaped my attention. None of your tears were unnoticed. None of your quiet struggles were hidden from me. Even when you believed you were walking alone through ordinary days, my eyes remained upon you with a love that never grew distant. Perhaps you have wondered if I still speak. Perhaps you have questioned whether my voice could ever reach someone who feels tired, distracted, or uncertain. Perhaps you believe that if I truly wanted your attention, everything around you would suddenly become obvious. But my beloved child, my love has never depended upon noise. I do not always arrive through what startles the eyes. Often I begin by awakening the heart. Before I change what surrounds you, I gently touch what is within you. Before I reveal a new path, I invite you into a quieter place where fear no longer decides what you believe. Before you recognize my direction, I help you recognize my presence. That is why I am asking you not to hurry away from this sacred pause. There is a reason your heart has slowed down enough to hear these words. There is a reason something within you feels gently drawn instead of forced. My invitations are never driven by fear. I do not call you closer by making you panic. I call you closer because love always seeks relationship before explanation. You do not have to understand everything that lies ahead in order to receive this moment. You only need the willingness to remain here with me. My child, there have been seasons when you searched for me in extraordinary things while overlooking the quiet ways I was already near. You waited for certainty while I was offering my presence. You waited for every question to be answered while I was inviting you to trust my heart before you understood my plan. Do not mistake my gentleness for absence. Do not mistake stillness for abandonment. Sometimes the deepest work begins where nothing appears to be changing at all. Just as the first light of dawn quietly enters a dark room without asking permission, my peace often begins before you can fully explain why. Just as a shepherd gently calls each sheep by name instead of shouting at the entire hillside, I am speaking to you personally now, not to the crowd, not to everyone at once, to you, because I know your name before anyone else speaks it. I know your story beyond what others have seen. I know the places where disappointment has tried to convince you that hope has grown too weak to rise again. Yet, my child, hope has never depended upon your strength. Hope has always rested in my faithfulness. So remain here for a little longer. Let your heart become still enough to notice what it has been too exhausted to recognize. This moment is not asking you to perform. It is not asking you to pretend that everything is fine. It is not asking you to hide your questions behind polite words. It is simply inviting you to listen. There is a reason you are here. There is a reason this moment has found you. There is a reason your heart has not turned away, and as you remain in this quiet place with me, I will gently begin to show you that what seemed like an ordinary interruption may, in truth, be the beginning of a divine appointment prepared with perfect timing by the one who has never stopped watching over you. My beloved child, as you remain here with me, let your heart stay open a little longer. You do not need to hide the weight you have been carrying. You do not need to arrange your thoughts into perfect words before you come near me. I already know the places where your strength has quietly faded. I know the burdens that have become so familiar, you no longer remember what it feels like to live without them. I know the exhaustion that does not always come from working too many hours, but from carrying too many invisible concerns. There is a weariness that sleep cannot remove, and I know you have felt it. It follows you into the morning before the day has even begun. It lingers beside you while you answer responsibilities, smile at others, and continue doing what needs to be done. Then, when evening comes and everything grows quiet, it is still there, waiting in the silence. My child, I have seen how often you have told yourself that you simply need to be stronger. You have believed that if you tried harder, worried less, organized better, or endured a little longer, the heaviness would eventually disappear. Yet the burden remained because it was never only about the tasks before you. It settled much deeper than your schedule. It found its way into your thoughts, into your breathing, into the quiet conversations you have with yourself when no one else is listening. I know how many times you have smiled while your heart felt tired. I know how often you answered, "I am doing fine," even though part of you longed for someone to ask one more question. I know the moments when you felt surrounded by people and yet strangely unseen. I know the private disappointments you have carried without wanting to become a burden to anyone else. I know the prayers that seemed unfinished because your heart became too weary to keep speaking. I know the questions you never dared to say aloud because you feared they might reveal how fragile you truly felt. My beloved child, I have watched you carry expectations that were never spoken but somehow always present. The expectation to remain calm when everything inside you felt unsettled. The expectation to stay hopeful when waiting became longer than you imagined. The expectation to keep giving, even when your own soul quietly longed to receive comfort. You have carried responsibilities with faithful hands while your heart whispered for rest. You have tried to be dependable for everyone around you. And somewhere along the journey, you forgot that you also needed a place where you did not have to be strong. I know the hidden pain that cannot easily be explained. Sometimes it is not one great sorrow, but many small disappointments gathered together over time. A prayer that seemed unanswered. A relationship that changed. A dream that quietly faded. A fear that returned just when you believed it had finally left. A memory that still visits without warning. None of these things alone may seem overwhelming, yet together they have become a weight your heart has been carrying day after day. I know how emotional fatigue can make even ordinary moments feel heavier than they should. I know how hope can become difficult to hold when every new day feels too much like the one before it. I know how discouragement can quietly disguise itself as routine until you no longer recognize how tired your soul has become. You have wondered why joy feels farther away than it once did. You have wondered why your heart sometimes struggles to rest even in peaceful places. My child, I have seen every silent struggle that no one applauded because no one knew it existed. I have seen the battles fought inside your thoughts while the outside of your life appeared ordinary. I have seen the courage it took simply to keep moving forward when your emotions felt worn thin. I've seen the moments when you almost believed that no one truly understood what you were carrying, but I understood. I have always understood. Before a single tear formed, I knew its reason. Before a single sigh escaped your lips, I knew its weight. Before your heart became overwhelmed, my love was already near. So do not believe that your hidden pain has hidden you from me. Your exhaustion has not made you invisible. Your silent struggle has not pushed you beyond my reach. Every moment you have endured has remained fully known to the one who formed your heart with perfect compassion. You are not weak because you feel tired. You are not forgotten because your prayers have included questions. You are not abandoned because your heart has grown weary from carrying more than it was ever meant to carry alone. Stay close, my beloved child. There is something even deeper I want to gently reveal to you, because the burden you have been feeling is not the whole story. and what I see within you reaches far beyond the pain you have been able to describe. My beloved child, now that you have allowed your heart to become honest before me, I want to gently reveal something that has been quietly shaping the way you see yourself. The deepest burden you have carried has not always come from what happened to you. Often, it has come from what you slowly began to believe because of what happened. Pain has a way of speaking if it remains unattended for too long. Disappointment whispers its own story. Fear repeats its own version of the future. Silence tries to explain my presence through its own understanding. Little by little, without realizing it, you have listened to voices that never truly knew your heart. You did not choose these lies because you wanted them. You accepted them because they sounded believable after seasons of waiting, disappointment, and emotional exhaustion. My beloved child, I know the quiet sentence that has echoed through your thoughts more times than you would ever admit. Perhaps I have been forgotten. You may never have spoken those exact words aloud, yet your heart has carried them in moments when prayers seemed unanswered, when life felt unchanged, when you watched others move forward while your own journey seemed painfully still. The lie did not arrive all at once. It came gently, one disappointment at a time, until it began to sound familiar. Then another voice joined it. You are not enough, not talented enough, not faithful enough, not strong enough, not patient enough, not worthy enough. You compared your hidden struggles with the visible victories of others. You measured your worth by your progress instead of by my love. You began to believe that if you had been better, wiser, or more faithful, your life would already look different. My child, fear has always tried to become a storyteller. It gathers pieces of your past and arranges them into a future that I never wrote. It points to your failures while hiding my mercy. It magnifies your weaknesses while ignoring the strength I have quietly been growing within you. Fear does not simply make you anxious. It slowly teaches you to doubt who you are. Then doubt begins to color every decision. You hesitate because you no longer trust the gifts I placed within you. You remain silent because you fear your voice has no value. You hold back your heart because you expect disappointment before hope even has the opportunity to breathe. My beloved child, there have also been moments when you believed another painful lie. You believed that because you still struggle, you must somehow be failing me. You believed that your questions disappointed me. You believed your tears revealed weakness instead of honesty. You believed that if your faith were stronger, your heart would never feel weary. But listen carefully. I have never measured your love for me by the absence of emotion. I have never rejected an honest heart because it trembled. I have never turned away from a child simply because that child was tired. Your weakness has never frightened me. Your questions have never surprised me. Your need for comfort has never become a reason for me to withdraw. My beloved child, self-doubt is not your identity. Fear is not your identity. Shame is not your identity. They are voices that have visited your heart, but they were never invited to define it. They may have spoken loudly, but they have never carried my authority. The world often teaches you that your value must be earned through performance, achievement, approval, or constant success. Yet my love has never followed those measurements. Before you accomplished anything, I knew you. Before anyone praised you, I delighted in you. Before you understood your own story, I was already writing it with compassion and purpose. That is why it grieves my heart when you see yourself through the eyes of fear instead of through my love. I never called you forgotten. I never called you unworthy. I never called you a burden. I never called you beyond hope. Those names did not come from me. They came from wounds that were never meant to become your identity. My child, do not mistake the voice of accusation for my voice. My voice draws you closer. My voice restores. My voice reminds you that even when you feel uncertain, you remain deeply known. Even when you feel inadequate, you remain deeply loved. Even when your heart questions itself, my heart has never questioned whether you belong to me. Stay near, my beloved child, because now that these hidden lies have begun to lose their grip, I want to show you something far more beautiful than the story fear has been telling you. I want to show you how I have always seen your life, and through my eyes, everything begins to take on a different meaning. My beloved child, now allow me to show you something that fear has never been able to see. You have looked at your life through the lens of disappointment for so long that you have almost forgotten there is another way to see your story. You have measured yourself by unfinished chapters, delayed answers, and moments when you felt too weak to continue. But I have never looked at you through the eyes of disappointment. I have never stood over your life searching for reasons to be discouraged. I have always looked upon you with the eyes of a loving shepherd who sees far beyond the road immediately beneath your feet. While you have been counting what seems to be missing, I have been watching what has quietly been growing inside you. While you have been asking why the journey feels so long, I have been shaping a heart that can carry blessings with humility, compassion, and wisdom. My beloved child, you have called yourself weak because you became tired. I have seen courage. Every morning you chose to rise again when hope felt distant. I saw courage. Every time you spoke kindly while carrying your own hidden pain, I saw strength. Every prayer you whispered when you wondered whether anyone was listening became a beautiful testimony of faith that refused to disappear completely. You thought your trembling meant you were failing, but I saw a child who continued reaching toward me even while carrying uncertainty. That is not failure. That is faith learning to breathe through difficult seasons. You have looked at your waiting and assumed nothing was happening. I have looked at your waiting and seen roots growing deeper than you could ever imagine. A tree does not become strong because of one sunny afternoon. Its strength is formed through seasons no one celebrates, when growth happens beneath the surface where human eyes cannot see. In the same way, much of what I have been doing in your life has remained hidden, not because I abandoned you, but because the deepest transformation often begins where no one is applauding. My child, you have sometimes believed that your slow progress disappointed me, but I do not compare your journey with anyone else's. I know the path I prepared specifically for you. I know the healing your heart requires. I know the lessons that cannot be rushed. I know the compassion that is being formed through every experience you wish had never happened. What you have called delay, I have often called preparation. What you have called weakness, I have often called dependence. What you have called an ending, I have quietly been using as the beginning of something far more beautiful than you could yet imagine. There have been days when you saw only broken pieces scattered across your life. You wondered how anything meaningful could come from so many disappointments. Yet I have never been intimidated by broken pieces. I have always been the one who brings beauty where others see only loss. I see connections that you cannot yet recognize. I see prayers that are still unfolding. I see doors that have not yet opened because the time for them has not yet arrived. My perspective is never limited by what today looks like. I see the whole journey while you are living one step at a time. My beloved child, there is also something beautiful within you that you have overlooked. You believe your kindness is ordinary, but I see my love flowing through it. You believe your compassion is insignificant, but I see hearts that have quietly found comfort because you chose gentleness instead of bitterness. You believe your perseverance has gone unnoticed, but I have treasured every faithful step. Nothing done in love is ever forgotten in my kingdom. Nothing surrendered to me is ever wasted. Every quiet act of faith becomes part of a greater story that I continue writing with grace. Do not allow temporary feelings to become permanent definitions of who you are. Feelings change like the weather, but my view of you remains steady. On the days when you feel confident, I love you completely. On the days when you struggle to believe in yourself, I love you completely. When you feel joyful, I remain near. When you feel weary, I remain near. My love has never risen or fallen according to your emotions because it has always been rooted in my unchanging heart. My child, if only you could see yourself for one moment through my eyes, you would discover that you are far more resilient than you have believed, far more precious than you have imagined, and far more deeply loved than your fears have ever allowed you to understand. The story you have been reading about your life has been incomplete because you have been reading only the pages that describe your struggles. I have been holding the pages that reveal my faithfulness. Stay with me a little longer, because there is an even greater truth waiting to reshape the way you understand your journey. And it is through my word that you will begin to see your circumstances not as fear has described them, but as my truth has always declared them to be. My beloved child, I know there is a question that has quietly followed you through many seasons. It has risen in your heart after every prayer that seemed to linger without an immediate answer. It has walked beside you through days that felt unchanged and nights that felt longer than you expected. You have wondered, why am I still waiting? You have tried to remain patient, yet part of you has questioned whether waiting means that you have somehow been overlooked. Listen carefully to my heart. Waiting has never been my way of forgetting you. Waiting has never been evidence that I have stepped away from your story. More often than you realize, waiting is the gentle space where I prepare both the blessing and the heart that will receive it. If you could see your life through the rhythm of creation itself, you would understand that I have always worked through seasons. I did not create a world where every seed became a great tree in a single afternoon. I designed life so that growth would unfold with purpose. A seed disappears beneath the soil before anyone celebrates its future. Hidden beneath the earth, where no applause can reach it, something beautiful begins to happen. The shell that once protected the seed must first break open. What appears to be an ending is actually the beginning of new life. From above, nothing seems to be changing. The ground looks quiet. The landscape appears unchanged. Yet beneath the surface, roots are reaching deeper with every passing day. My beloved child, your waiting has often looked like that hidden field. You have looked at the surface and concluded that nothing is happening. I have been looking beneath the surface, where your faith has been quietly stretching toward me. While you counted the days, I was strengthening your roots. While you wondered why the answers seemed delayed, I was forming a deeper trust that would remain steady even when circumstances changed. The world celebrates what can be seen, but I treasure what is formed in secret. Deep roots do not exist to slow the tree. They exist so the tree can stand when strong winds arrive. In the same way, the work I am doing within your heart is not delaying your future. It is preparing you to remain secure when blessings finally come into your hands. My child, there are gifts that seem wonderful in one season but become overwhelming in another. There are opportunities that appear beautiful but require a heart that has learned patience, humility, compassion, and dependence upon me. Preparation is one of my greatest expressions of love, even when it feels uncomfortable. I do not rush what is precious. I do not hurry the process that shapes eternal character. You have asked me to lead your life, and sometimes my leadership looks quieter than you expected. It looks like another ordinary morning, another faithful prayer, another small step forward, another decision to trust when certainty has not yet arrived. Never underestimate the power of those ordinary moments. They are the places where lasting transformation quietly grows. Think about the changing seasons. Spring never competes with winter. Summer does not rush autumn. Every season carries its own purpose, and each one prepares the way for the next. If every season were filled only with harvest, the ground would eventually lose its strength. There must also be seasons of planting, seasons of waiting, seasons of hidden growth, and seasons of renewal. Your soul is no different. What feels like stillness today may actually be the sacred season, where my hands are doing some of their deepest work. My beloved child, I also know that waiting can reveal fears you never knew were hidden within you. It can tempt you to compare your journey with someone else's. It can whisper that everyone else is moving ahead while you remain behind. But I have never written your story by comparing it with another person's path. I know exactly where you are because I have walked beside you every step of the way. I know the pace that will bring healing instead of harm. I know the timing that will protect what I have entrusted to you. My timing is not built upon urgency, it is built upon wisdom and love. Remember the words of Scripture. Those who wait for the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. This promise is not merely about enduring until something changes around you. It is about discovering that even in the waiting, I am renewing something within you. I am strengthening what fear tried to weaken. I am restoring what disappointment tried to diminish. I am teaching your heart to recognize that my presence is never postponed, even when the answer you seek has not yet arrived. So do not despise this season simply because it feels unfinished. A seed does not accuse the soil of forgetting it. The roots do not complain because they cannot yet see the sunlight. They continue growing because they were created to trust the process I designed. In the same way, my beloved child, You are not buried beneath the weight of your circumstances. You are being planted in hope. And every quiet day that seems unnoticed is another day in which my faithful hands are preparing you for the life I have always intended, a life that will not merely change your circumstances, but will transform your heart from the inside out. My beloved child, as the seasons continue to unfold, there is another question rising quietly within your heart. If this time has not been wasted, then who am I becoming? You have spent so much energy looking toward the destination that you have almost overlooked the remarkable work taking place within the journey itself. You have wondered when your circumstances will change, yet something far deeper has already begun to change inside you. The person who first entered this season is not the same person who is listening now. Growth is often so gentle that it cannot be measured from one day to the next. It is only when you look back that you begin to recognize how differently your heart now responds to the very things that once overwhelmed you. There was a time when uncertainty immediately filled you with fear. Now, although questions still exist, there is also a quiet determination that continues to move forward. There was a time when disappointment easily convinced you to give up. Now you have discovered that hope can remain alive, even when every answer has not yet arrived. This is not because life has suddenly become easier. It is because something stronger has been formed within you. Wisdom has begun to replace hurried reactions. You have learned that not every closed door is rejection and not every delay is defeat. You are beginning to understand that immediate answers are not always the greatest gift. Sometimes the greater gift is becoming the kind of person who can walk with peace, even before every question has been resolved. Wisdom grows quietly. It is not loud or impatient. It teaches your heart to pause before fear speaks first. It reminds you that every season does not need to be understood immediately in order to carry purpose. My beloved child, resilience has also been taking root within you. You once believed resilience meant never becoming tired, never shedding tears, never feeling discouraged. But true resilience is much gentler than that. It is the quiet decision to stand again after your heart has been disappointed. It is the willingness to continue trusting when yesterday offered no visible evidence that tomorrow will be different. It is choosing kindness after experiencing hurt. It is choosing hope after walking through uncertainty. Like a tree whose roots hold firmly beneath the soil during every storm, resilience is not measured by the absence of strong winds, but by the quiet strength that refuses to let go of hope. Patience has also been growing within you, though perhaps not in the way you expected. You once thought patience meant waiting without emotion. Instead, you are learning that patience is the peaceful confidence that meaningful things are worth waiting for. It is the courage to remain faithful during ordinary days that no one celebrates. It is the steady heartbeat that continues one faithful step at a time without demanding immediate results. Patience has softened the urgency that once filled your spirit and has begun replacing it with a deeper trust that life unfolds one season at a time. My beloved child, there is another beautiful gift quietly emerging from your journey. Compassion. Pain has a way of opening the heart in ways comfort alone never could. Because you have known weariness, you now recognize it in others. Because you have carried silent burdens, you notice those who quietly carry their own. Because you have longed to be understood, you have become slower to judge and quicker to listen. This compassion is not weakness. It is one of the most beautiful reflections of a transformed heart. The world often celebrates power that stands above others, but heaven delights in hearts that gently walk beside those who are struggling. Your difficult seasons have not only shaped your own character, they have prepared you to become a source of encouragement for someone whose path will one day resemble the one you have walked. You may not realize it now, but your quiet endurance will someday become another person's reassurance that difficult seasons do not last forever. Your gentle words will carry weight because they have been refined by experience rather than theory. Your peace will become believable because it was discovered in the middle of uncertainty instead of after every problem disappeared. This is how transformation quietly spreads from one life into another. My beloved child, do not underestimate who you are becoming simply because the changes are taking place inside your heart instead of around your circumstances. The greatest miracles often begin where no human eye can measure them. A renewed mind, a peaceful spirit, a wiser heart, a patient soul, a compassionate life. These are treasures that no disappointment can steal, and no passing season can erase. They become part of who you are. They shape the way you love, the way you forgive, the way you hope, and the way you continue walking forward with quiet confidence. One day you will look back and realize that this season was never only preparing you for something you would receive. It was preparing you for someone you were becoming. And as this beautiful transformation continues to unfold within you, your heart will soon discover an even deeper invitation, not merely to understand the journey, but to begin living each ordinary day with a new peace that quietly changes everything from the inside out. My beloved child, after everything your heart has begun to understand, you may still find yourself asking one simple question: what should I do now? You may expect me to hand you a long list of steps, to ask you to strive harder, to prove yourself more, or to carry even greater burdens in order to move forward. But listen carefully, because my invitation has always been much simpler than fear would have you believe. Before I ask you to accomplish anything, I invite you to come closer. Before I ask you to walk farther, I invite you to rest. Before I ask you to carry tomorrow, I invite you to place today into my hands. There are moments when the greatest act of faith is not doing more. It is releasing what was never yours to carry. My child, there are burdens that have remained upon your shoulders simply because you believed you had no choice. You carried yesterday's regrets into today's opportunities. You carried tomorrow's uncertainties into this present moment. You carried expectations that no loving father ever asked you to fulfill. Your heart became tired because it was holding things that could never produce peace. Today, I gently invite you to loosen your grip, not because those burdens were imaginary, but because they were never meant to become your identity. Let go of the belief that you must control every outcome before you can have peace. Let go of the fear that tells you one unexpected moment can undo everything I have been building within you. Let go of the exhausting habit of measuring your worth by your productivity, your success, or the approval of others. These things have asked too much from your soul. They have promised security, but have often left you with deeper anxiety instead. There is another way to live. It begins with trust. Trust is not pretending that every question has already been answered. Trust is choosing to keep walking even while some answers remain hidden beyond the next horizon. Trust is allowing your heart to rest in my character when your eyes cannot yet understand my timing. My beloved child, there may also be someone you need to forgive. Perhaps another person, perhaps even yourself. Forgiveness does not erase what happened, nor does it call wrong things right. Instead, forgiveness releases your heart from becoming permanently tied to yesterday's pain. When you refuse to forgive, you often continue carrying the weight of wounds long after the moment itself has passed. But when you choose forgiveness, you begin making room for healing to breathe again. I know forgiveness is not always immediate. Sometimes it unfolds one quiet prayer at a time. Sometimes it is a daily decision made long before every emotion catches up. Even so, every small step toward forgiveness opens another window where peace may enter. My child, surrender is often misunderstood. Many imagine surrender as giving up, as though hope has disappeared. But surrender in my kingdom is never the surrender of defeat. It is the surrender of trust. It is placing into my hands what has become too heavy for yours. It is saying, I cannot see the whole path, but I will continue walking with you. That quiet decision transforms the heart far more deeply than endless striving ever could. Every day presents another opportunity to make this choice again. When anxious thoughts begin to multiply, choose to pause instead of rushing. When fear demands immediate certainty, choose to remember the faithfulness that has already carried you through seasons you once believed impossible to survive. When disappointment tries to convince you that nothing is changing, choose to notice the quiet ways your heart has already been transformed. The invitation before you is not complicated. Breathe deeply. Release what you cannot control. Forgive where bitterness has quietly settled. Trust where certainty has not yet appeared. Continue taking the next faithful step instead of trying to solve the entire journey before sunset. A shepherd never asks the sheep to see the whole valley before taking the next step. The shepherd simply calls, and the sheep learns to recognize the voice that has always led with wisdom and care. In the same way, you do not need to understand every detail of tomorrow before you can walk faithfully today. My beloved child, the life that brings lasting peace is not built upon perfect circumstances. It is built one quiet decision at a time, one surrendered fear, one forgiven memory, one released burden, one faithful step, one renewed trust. These choices may seem small, but they slowly reshape the direction of an entire life. As they become part of your daily walk, you will begin to discover something beautiful. The peace you have been searching for is not waiting at the end of the journey as a distant reward. It begins growing within every heart that learns to release its fears, open its hands, and walk forward with quiet confidence, knowing that each ordinary step becomes extraordinary when it is taken in faithful trust. My beloved child, as you continue walking with a heart that is learning to trust, I want you to look gently toward the days ahead, not with fear, not with the anxiety that asks, "What if everything goes wrong?" but with the quiet hope that asks, "What beautiful things might still unfold?" I know there have been seasons when the future felt uncertain. You looked ahead and saw more questions than answers. You wondered if the dreams you once carried were still possible. You wondered if the chapters that brought disappointment had permanently changed the story of your life. But my child, the pages you have already lived are not the final pages of your journey. There are still chapters being written. There are still moments of growth waiting to be discovered. There are still opportunities for restoration, renewal, and unexpected beauty. You may not be able to see what is coming, but you can trust that your story is not limited by what you can see today. Sometimes the greatest changes begin quietly. A new chapter does not always announce itself with a great sound. Sometimes it begins with a small decision to hope again. Sometimes it begins with a heart that chooses to believe that yesterday's pain does not have the authority to define tomorrow's possibilities. Sometimes it begins when you wake up and realize that the heaviness you once carried does not control you in the same way anymore. My beloved child, I do not ask you to pretend that everything will always be easy. Hope is not denial. Faith is not ignoring reality. Hope is the courage to believe that even in an unfinished story, something meaningful can still be formed. It is the confidence that one difficult season does not represent your entire life. It is the understanding that a closed door may not be the end of the journey, but an invitation to notice another path that you could not see before. There are opportunities ahead that may look different from what you originally imagined. There are lessons that may prepare you for places you never expected to enter. There are relationships, moments, and experiences that may bring new meaning into your life. Do not limit what is possible simply because you cannot predict the details. A seed beneath the soil cannot imagine the branches it will one day grow. A sunrise hidden beyond the darkness cannot yet reveal the warmth it will bring. Yet both carry within them the promise of something becoming visible at the right time. My child, restoration does not always mean returning to the exact place where you were before. Sometimes, restoration means becoming someone deeper, wiser, and more whole than you were before the difficult season began. Sometimes the greatest restoration is not found in getting back what was lost, but in discovering what was formed within you while you were walking through the process. The patience you developed, the compassion you gained, the wisdom you gathered, the strength you discovered. These are treasures that will continue traveling with you into the days ahead. There may be moments when new opportunities appear, and you question whether you are ready. You may remember old fears and wonder if you have enough courage to step forward. But remember what has already been built within you. You are not entering the future as the same person who first entered the waiting season. You carry lessons that were formed through perseverance. You carry a heart that has learned deeper trust. You carry a perspective that was shaped through experiences you once wished you could avoid. My beloved child, there may be breakthroughs ahead, but do not define breakthrough only by external changes. Sometimes the first breakthrough happens within. A fearful heart becomes peaceful. A discouraged mind becomes hopeful. A tired spirit becomes renewed. A person who once questioned their worth begins to understand their value. These inner changes create the foundation for everything else. The future is not only about what you will receive, it is also about who you will become. So walk forward with an open heart. Do not demand that tomorrow reveal every detail before you take today's faithful step. Trust that the same grace that carried you through yesterday is still available for every moment ahead. You do not need to know every turn in the road to continue walking with confidence. You only need enough light for the next step. My beloved child, there is still beauty ahead. There are still reasons to hope. There are still moments waiting to remind you that your life is not defined by what hurt you. The story continues. The journey continues. The work within you continues. And as you move forward, I want you to remember one more truth. You are not walking toward the future alone. The one who guided you through the hidden seasons will continue to walk beside you, gently leading you into the peace, purpose, and new beginnings that are still waiting to unfold. My beloved child, as this quiet moment comes to an end, I want you to carry one truth with you above all others. You were never walking through your journey unseen. Every question you carried, every season you endured, every moment when your heart searched for peace was known and held within my care. You came here carrying thoughts, worries, and emotions that were difficult to explain, but now I invite you to leave with something lighter. Leave with a heart that remembers you are not forgotten. Leave with a spirit that remembers hope is still possible. Leave with the peace that comes from knowing you do not have to carry every burden alone. My child, remember what you have discovered in this journey. The things that caused you to feel weak were not the full definition of who you are. The waiting seasons were not empty spaces where nothing happened. The hidden moments were not proof that you were abandoned. There was growth taking place beneath the surface. There was wisdom being formed. There was patience being strengthened. There was a deeper understanding of trust being built within you. You may not have seen every change as it happened, but transformation was quietly unfolding. Today, I want you to release the need to have every answer immediately. Peace does not come from knowing every detail of tomorrow. Peace comes from trusting the one who already holds tomorrow. You do not need to understand every step before taking the next one. You do not need to see the entire road before moving forward with faith. A single step taken with trust is still a step toward hope. My beloved child, when you return to your ordinary days, remember this quiet place. Remember that you can pause when the world becomes overwhelming. Remember that you can bring your fears, questions, and uncertainties into prayer instead of allowing them to become heavy walls around your heart. Remember that your worth is not measured by how much you accomplish, how quickly you progress, or how perfectly you handle every challenge. Your life has value because it is held within a greater story of grace and purpose. There will be days when confidence feels strong, and there may be days when doubt tries to return. Do not be discouraged when those moments come. Growth is not a straight line. Healing often happens gently, layer by layer, like the morning light slowly filling a room after a long night. Continue choosing trust. Continue choosing forgiveness. Continue choosing peace. Continue returning to the truth when fear tries to rewrite your story. My child, may you walk forward with a heart that is softer. Not because life has never been difficult, but because you have discovered that difficulty does not have the final word. May you carry compassion because you understand hidden struggles. May you carry patience because you know that meaningful growth takes time. May you carry courage because you have already walked through seasons you once thought you could not endure. May you carry hope because the future is still open and your story is still unfolding. Remember this, you are not defined by the moments that exhausted you. You are not defined by the questions that remain unanswered. You are not defined by the fears that once surrounded you. You are a person still growing, still learning, still becoming, and still capable of experiencing new beginnings. My beloved child, take this peace with you. Let it settle deeper than temporary emotions. Let it become a quiet foundation beneath your thoughts, your decisions, and your days ahead. When life becomes loud again, return to stillness. When uncertainty appears again, return to trust. When your heart feels tired again, remember that you have a place where you can rest. The journey continues beyond this moment, but you do not leave this moment empty. You leave with renewed hope. You leave with a calmer heart. You leave knowing that even when you cannot see the entire path, you can still take the next step with confidence. My beloved child, may your heart remain anchored in peace. May your spirit remain open to hope. And may you always remember this simple truth. You are not alone. your story is not finished, and there is still grace waiting for you in every step ahead.